The silky hair is swept behind the ear to highlight the striking facial features. And glowing skin on the neck. The makeup is soft to highlight her dewy skin, which is a departure from her usual sexy and intriguing look. She is dressed in a flowy white shirt with sheer fabric. Despite her simple outfit, she elevates the look with a stunning pair of high heels and a low-cut shirt. That plunging shirt shows off some very sexy skin. If Best catches a glimpse of what I'm seeing, she will stop wanting me as her wife and instead moan Peeploy's name. However, what drew my attention and held it was her seductive smile and sparkling eyes when she asked, "How's it going?" I slowly wipe the smile off my face, close the door, and approach her. "This way, my lady." The dimples on Peeploy's cheeks make an appearance when I greet her and sweep my hand towards the hallway. "Don't you have to work today?" "I have been working since yesterday." When the ambrosial woman notices my confused expression, she proceeds to provide further explanation. "After we went to the temple, I had to leave town for work. I've just returned from my trip and arrived at my room." Was this the reason her response was so brief yesterday? "Am I interfering with your downtime?" Peeploy shakes her head. We stroll alongside each other until we arrive at my car. "I'll drive. Would you like to give me the route or tell me where we're going?" Peeploy extends her hand to me, requesting the car key. With self-permission, I instead offer her my hand. I lead her to the passenger's side, open the door, and adjust the seat to its most comfortable position. "I want to drive for you." I recently discovered and talked to GB about the softness of Peeploy's hand. She has the lovely nails and fingers of someone who takes excellent care of herself. How I could possibly fit into this person's life is beyond me. I must admit that I frequently glance over at my companion while driving. I like Peeploy in this look better than I anticipated. It's a sweet and innocent look. It's a look that exudes confidence while remaining delicate enough to make you want to give her the best care possible. It didn't take long to get to our destination. I park my car in the parking lot of a Thai-Japanese restaurant. The restaurant is primarily decorated with plants and features warm lighting. To create a sense of space, the structure is designed to look like a glass house. I believe I should get 8 or 8.5 out of 10 for choosing this restaurant. After we sit down, I examine the expression on the person I invited to assess my rating. The dimples on her cheeks indicate her level of satisfaction with my selection on a scale from 1 to 10. To me, a score of 8.5 is not bad. "Have you been here before? Does this visit count?" Peeploy responds with a question. I simply smile and look down at the menu, not answering her question to my question. I wait for her to place her order before ordering dishes that feature fish and seafood as main ingredients, such as grilled scallops with garlic, Southern-style sour curry with sablefish, and grilled squid with chili and ginger. The villain actress loves seafood. I did my homework well. I was a bit worried about our chemistry before we came here. I've never made an advance on anyone before. She's older than me. It may be challenging for two people who don't know much about each other or their preferences to spend hours dining together and keep the conversation flowing. However, if you wish to venture into the bear's enclosure, you will need to don a bear costume. If I ever want to be a part of Peeploy's life, I must first get to know her and learn about her preferences, lifestyle, and interests. As a result, our conversation ranges from shoe brands to fashion color, trends, cosmetics, and the food she enjoys cooking when she comes across an interesting menu. The topic even ventures into, "So you were the one who taught P. Prang to cook?" "Prang forced me to." She narrows her eyes and whispers to me, "Don't you want to open a restaurant? Your passion for cooking is evident too." Me, Peeploy's eyes light up when she talks about her passions. "From my brother's business, I've seen how hectic things can be. I prefer to cook for my close friends." "I just realized that you have a brother." I cast a brief glance at her before returning my attention to my plate of food. attempting to conceal my interest in her brother. I have one brother. He opens a restaurant in New York. As Piploy puts the shared spoon back where it belongs, the sound of metal striking ceramic echoes. It makes me question whether I'm maintaining an appropriate poker face. I just returned from New York. What is the name of the place? Perhaps I know it. Let's Eat Thai. It's in the Brooklyn neighborhood. Have you heard of it? New York has many Thai restaurants. I'm not sure if I've been there. Have you ever paid your brother a visit? I haven't visited him for a long time. Are you close to your brother? I'm close to everyone who's cute. Does that mean she's close to him or not? Try this. I think you will like it. The most delicious part of a sablefish is placed on Piploy's plate. The woman with the striking features smiles back at me in gratitude. Who's better at cooking? Him. Who is a better cook, you or your brother? Have you ever competed? We are both good, but in different ways. Piploy blinks slowly and looks deep into my eyes as if she's dead serious. However, she appears to be teasing me as well. It depends on the person's eating preferences. When I was in New York, I wanted to open a Thai restaurant, but I had no experience in that field. I thought it would be helpful if I knew someone who owned a restaurant in New York so I could ask for advice on hearing and obtaining permits. Does your brother come home on occasion? I'd love to see you two in the kitchen. He just came back. The woman with dimples wipes the corner of her mouth with a piece of tissue. She maintains the brightness in her eyes as she places her fork and spoon together to indicate that she is finished with her meal. If I want. I lose my voice as Piploy leans over and looks me in the eye. You have exhausted your quota for asking me questions tonight. Could I ask you some questions instead? Damn, I was about to get the information I needed. Sure. Do you like women? She is overly skilled at starring and expressing her emotions through her eyes. She rests her chin on her palm, places her elbow on the table, and concentrates her entire attention on me. I can once again see those dimples on her cheeks. Whether or not I like women depends on who is asking the question. I'm the one posing the question to you. You're looking at me as if I'm a little kid. I have no idea that I'm looking at you in such a manner, but if we were to compare ages, I am older than you. I grab my phone from the table and take a picture of her. Here. I turn the screen to the person, staring at me with adoration. This is how you look at me. You look at me as if I'm an immature kid. Piploy squints at the phone without paying much attention to it. She then tilts her head away from the phone and fixes her eyes on me once again. You're not answering my question. Well, when I stutter, Piploy returns to her upright position. What was your question? I believe I have answered all of them. I asked if you like women. Direct and to the point. When those eyes meet mine, time seems to stand still. My mind races as I quickly search through my lifelong memories for the most appropriate response. Do I like women? How should I respond to this question? I'm not even sure if I've ever truly liked anyone. I never yearned for anyone. P-Bai may have had some influence on me as a freshman in college. That's it. No. I respond to everyone with that answer without giving it any thought. However, in front of this woman, that word refuses to leave my mouth. The gravity of my words is too significant for me to speak hastily. What alarms me is that, deep down, I'm aware that my hesitation isn't a result of wanting to approach her in order to find P-Pay. Is my question too difficult for you to answer? Piploy sets her gaze on me. Her expressionless eyes and smile reveal nothing. Despite this, I have the impression that she can read me like an open book. No, the question is not hard to answer, but I'd rather respond to that question with my actions. Meeting more frequently will help you get the answer. The person who got her response remains silent. She simply looks at me adoringly, her dimples reappearing before she sips her water. I'm so embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by how I flirted with her just now. My entire body is flushing, and I'm feeling unusually anxious. We spend more time discussing broad subjects. There's no uneasiness or dead air. We're both in a good mood and have a lively discussion. I begin to appreciate Peeploy's response of asking a question that prompts me to think deeper. I like how she looks at me. In her sparkling eyes, it's as if she finds joy in my every move. Or perhaps this is her charm. It's so alluring. She makes everyone around her feel good. I requested the bill, and it is now in front of me. We ordered only a few items from the menu, yet this meal costs nearly 2,000 baht. This price already includes a 30% discount for cash payments. I expected the place to be expensive, but I did not expect to find only one. 500 baht bill, 3 100 baht bills, and a few green 20 baht bills in my wallet when I opened it. No matter how many times I added up, it's less than 1,000. The stares from Peeploy and the waitress put me under pressure. I think I'll buy something back for P. Prang and PJ. Can I have the menu again? I direct my request to the waitress. She acknowledges my request and proceeds to fetch the menu for me. Having placed one last takeout order, I excuse myself to the restroom. Stealthily making my way to the register, I approach a male employee and discreetly inquire. "Excuse me, can I use a cash transfer prompt pay here?" My question is out of desperation. According to the reply I got, my credit card limit is going to take a serious beating. "I apologize, miss, we don't currently support that." Okay, the response I received means that I will have to return to the table. With a smile on my face, hand the waitress my credit card and pay the full amount of the bill without any discounts. Don't we get a 30% discount if we pay with cash? When the beautiful woman sees me handing the credit card to the waitress, she interrupts us. "Yes, miss." That was not me. The woman in the restaurant's uniform answers to Peeploy on my behalf. She's about to walk up to the cashier and transfer my asset to the restaurant in exchange for this meal. I offer a dry smile to the woman with waves in her hair as she gazes at me. I was in such a hurry that I didn't grab any money when I left my room. RIP to my dignity and confidence in my appearance and breasts for today. I dressed up as stylishly as I could and utilized all of my flirtatious skills to ask her out, saying that I wanted to treat her to a meal to show my gratitude. I wanted to impress her by paying for the meal. However, it was Peeploy who eventually handed the waitress 3 gray bills, each worth 1,000 baht. "For this meal." "Peeploy, I can pay with my credit card. You don't need to pay for this meal. The discount is worth several hundred bahts. I'd rather it be in our pockets rather than the restaurant owners." I failed. Let me declare my failure right now. That's why I keep a grumpy expression the entire way back to the condo. "Are you angry with me?" The question Peeploy asks as we approach her door is more akin to playful banter. We are standing on the 42nd floor because I insisted on escorting her to her room. I'm angry at myself. And as a result, you're upset with me. I wanted to treat you, but you wouldn't let me repay you. I'm free next week. I will make a list of what you have to buy me in exchange for our meal today and send it to your chat. If you're okay, I will go to your room at 7:30 p.m. next Sunday. Does she mean we're making plans to meet again? Or does she simply want me to buy her something in exchange for the money I owe her? The older woman leans against the wall, arms crossed over her chest. Her lips curve into a gentle giggle as she shuts her eyes. It's as if seeing me confused puts her in a good mood. "Does this mean you're fine with the plan?" "Yes," I blink blankly. Have you ever had a conversation with someone you just couldn't win? Have you ever met someone who consistently has the upper hand and leaves you in the dark? Good night then. Good night. The smile we shared before parting stays with me, even when I'm back in my room screaming, "Arg, Peeploy arranged our next meeting." My probation period with the Thai company is going well. The work is okay, The coworkers are nice. My boss complains a little too much, but that is fine. Even more than the weekends, it has been tonight's meeting with the ambrosial woman that I have been eagerly anticipating. Though we haven't met in person all week, we text once or twice daily. I received the list of ingredients I needed to buy in my chat on Saturday, and at precisely 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, my doorbell rings. How's it going? We greet each other as soon as we meet. Ploy is standing in the hallway. Her sparkling eyes are as bright as ever. Seeing her standing before me has made me realize how long this week has been and how thrilled I am to see her. Please come in. I step aside to make way for her. Did you manage to get everything on the list? Yes, and it still doesn't cost as much as our meal that day. Okay, let's gather everything and head to my room. Let us prepare something for dinner in my kitchen. Ploy gathers the ingredients I've prepared and is about to move her buttocks out of my room. Should we invite Jay and Prang as well? I immediately come to a halt and remain silent. Ploy must have sensed something because she turns to face me. If you want others to join us tonight, please invite them. Does that mean you want me to invite them or not? A big group could be fun. I evade her gaze to conceal my dissatisfaction. Ploy tilts her head and gives a nod. With that, she walks over to the door. I wanted to grab her wrist, but I didn't. I wanted to tell her not to invite anyone else. But I kept quiet even, though the words were right in my throat. Eventually, I let the situation lead us to PJ's door and wait for it to open. After Ploy rings the doorbell, however, not a single soul answers. Ploy complains that PJ is about to go into lockdown because she wants to keep Prang all to herself, citing the gambling demon as an excuse. Nevertheless, her amusement is evident as she vents her frustrations. As for me, I'm moody because the woman on the 42nd floor wanted to invite other people to our dinner. It makes me want to win. I'll cook the rice. I guarantee that the rice will be perfectly and evenly cooked. While my cooking skills are lacking, I am a master at rice cooking. Do you know how? I am confident you will ask for a refill. It is in the ambrosial woman's kitchen that we progress in our courtship. I refrain from acting irrationally or theatrically toward the woman in order to express my frustration, as I am not entitled to do so. Instead, my face is painted with a broad smile as I take on the role of Suze. Chef, I assist, care for her, and become her safe zone. She clearly appreciates it when I make honest comments about the food she prepared. Orange was not on my list. Ploy looks at the freshly squeezed orange juice in the glass I just placed on the table before taking a sip. Do you like it? Who doesn't like orange juice, especially someone who's as healthy as Ploy? There's more in the refrigerator. I keep it on hand for you. She will think of me every time she drinks it. Ploy does not have any flaws. She is breathtakingly beautiful, wealthy, intelligent, and capable of taking care of herself. If I am unable to compensate for her flaws, I will strive to enhance her strengths. Let it be known that I will win this game. Our conversation appears to expand as we get to know each other better. Thanks to the time we spent together and the chat messages we exchanged, we're able to connect and engage more naturally than before. Did you cook when you lived in NYC? Sometimes, but my roommate always brings back food or cooks for me. When he cooks, my only responsibility was to cook rice. You and your roommate seem very close. I smile when I think about Pipe. Yes, we were. We were so close that I almost signed a marriage certificate with him. Ploy poses more questions than she answers. In our conversations, she often asks me broad questions about my job and my thoughts on various topics. She will listen attentively without making any comments. It gives me the impression that I speak far too much. I'm on a roll and feel compelled to share everything with her. I wish she would reveal something about herself as well. So I start asking more questions and becoming more observant in order to avoid being the only person in this conversation who reveals too much. Have you read the book? We're discussing Dr. Sleep, a horror story that has been turned into a film and will be released in theaters soon. I discovered new information about Peeploy, which is that she has a passion for reading. The wooden shelves are lined with best-selling English novels. More importantly, Peepay's signature with a date appears not only on the inside cover of The Alchemist, but also in a number of other novels. More intriguing matters have arisen recently. She shakes her head slowly. We're sitting on her balcony, taking in the breeze. It is difficult for me to find time to read. What are you currently interested in? From this vantage point, the lights from the residences and vehicles appear as tiny dots, decorating the night. An almost whisper-soft wind is caressing us. I long to tuck Peeploy's stray locks behind her ear as they cascade onto her cheek. Probably food, work, and... She pauses to look at me before continuing. Is someone... No, Pun, don't smile. Don't you dare smile. You cannot let her flirt back. Keep your cool. Be cool. I meet her gaze, but soon after, I avert my eyes to the night sky because I can no longer look into those eyes. Shall we go watch it together? Who? If you don't have time to read, then let's go watch the movie together. Dr. Sleep, I mean. You're inviting me to see a horror movie. Peeploy laughs. I just realized how much I adore the dimples on her cheeks when they're paired with those dazzling eyes. The longer I stare at her, the harder it becomes to tear my eyes away. Will you join me? Will you buy me popcorn? I will lend you my hand if you're scared. Peeploy giggles and stands up while my ears burn with embarrassment. It's time for you to return to your room. Her response astounds me. Although there was an air of romance, she is now evicting me, and the romantic ambience we had been cultivating is dwindling as we make our way to the exit. It's Monday tomorrow. You have to work, right? I just realize it is already 11 p.m. when she says that, but is it really necessary to kick me out now, like right now? Can you walk back to your room by yourself? Yes, I reply as we reach the door. So, when does Dr. Sleep open in theaters? Let's catch the 9 p.m. show so we can have dinner first. What? By the time I've processed what she said, the ambrosial woman's door has closed, leaving me standing among the glowing night butterflies gently flapping their wings in the hallway, in the elevator, and throughout the night. When does Dr. Sleep open in theaters? Can it be tomorrow?